Hello, Radiant One, and a very big and a very warm welcome to Mastery, the show and podcast for brilliant spiritual beings just like you, having a human experience, ready to ignite the mastery inherent in you, as well as grow and expand from within and wanting to lead with love in work, business, and life. Designed to activate the mastery already within you, here we merge the worlds of seen and unseen, magic and miracles with the mundane and the practical, spirituality with strategy, the energetic with the physical, and business and work with a whole lot of love and soul. I'm your host, spiritual business coach, catalyst, facilitator, and radical love rebel, Maria Saraphina. And it is my deep honor, my great pleasure, and joy to share this episode with you. If you haven't already, I highly recommend that you go ahead and download the free mastery activation I've made for you. Go to mariasarafina.com/MA or click the link in the description to receive it. Remember to subscribe, like, comment, share, or leave a review to amplify the energy and love being shared in these transmissions so it can reach more and more gorgeous radiant beings like you. As always, I encourage you to listen with an open heart and an open mind and take only what serves you and leave the rest. Here is today's episode. Hello, Radiant One, and a very big and a very warm welcome back to Mastery. In today's episode, I wanted to talk about mastery through love, because that is really what is behind, to me, any sort of mastery. It is what's at the core of every, I don't want to say decision, but it's at the core of mastery is love. And for those of you who don't know my story, I just wanted to share a little bit about my love story, my story with love, how it's evolved over the years. And I've been contemplating what this episode should be about, and I recognize that in the first episode, or in the first solo episode, I shared about a lot about mastery and how it came to be. But I also think that I didn't really share about the love that drives it, and whether it be in life or business or work or health or wherever it might be, love is the driver, at least for me. And if you're here, I am guessing that it might also be for you, whether or not you recognize it as such, or whether or not love would be the term that you add to it, which it doesn't really matter. The terms are irrelevant, I suppose. You can put whatever term you want on it. For me, I name it love. And so my journey with love began back in somewhere around, I want to say 2006, 2008, when I first encountered a metaphysical text called A Course in Miracles. There was something about it that was speaking to me, but also was really, really difficult. I got the book, but I couldn't really make sense of it. It felt like Russian every time I started reading it. It was like I had no idea what was on the pages, and so forth. And then fast forward to somewhere around, I believe it was 2000, probably somewhere around 2009, 8 or 9, I believe. I was a very successful key account manager working for a large financial institute or credit card acquirer in Northern Europe, in Denmark. I had, on the outside, I had everything that you're supposed to have. I had a great job, well paid. I had, on top of what we have of healthcare in Denmark, I also had private healthcare. I was traveling. I had a great apartment. I had friends. I was able to travel, a vacation. I had everything that you're supposed to have on the outside. The only problem was, whenever I came home at night, I couldn't feel my heart. And so I would come home and I would just feel so empty. And I would often have these times when I would be on my bathroom floor, just crying my eyes out, not like screaming at, God or whatever source was there to to just take me out of my misery, because I was just, and this is now more than 15 years later, and I see why. I know why. I recognize all that. But at that time, I didn't know what was happening. I only knew that I was feeling ashamed of being, unhappy, unsatisfied when I had everything that the world tells us we're supposed to have in order to be happy. And one night, afternoon, I was on the bathroom floor and I was I was just hysterically crying when all of a sudden I had this moment of recognizing that while me was on the floor, upset, crying, hurt, just not able to process anything, there was another part of me it felt like it was outside of myself. It felt like it was above, next to me, which was observing, which was completely at peace, which was non-judgmental, which was just sort of space holding. And in that moment, I was it jolted me. It was like, okay, there is a part of me that currently feels like it's outside of myself, that is completely at peace despite whatever is going on that bathroom floor right now. And so that began my journey towards that, I knew that I wanted to embrace that. I wanted to embody that. I wanted that piece of me that felt like it was outside of myself. I wanted that within me. And what then began was a journey towards or with mastery through love. Because what I did was I had Marianne Williamson has written a brilliant book called A Return to Love. And what I did was I took that, and this is the time of the iPod. This is many, many years ago. So what I did was I wanted to engage or activate that part of myself that felt like it was outside of myself. I wanted that part to grow and expand. I knew that I wanted to amplify that part of me without having any clue as to how. Luckily, I was guided, as we all are. If you had those types of situations, you probably may have also felt the guidance without knowing where it came from. And what I was guided to doing was taking my iPod, and every night before, as I was going to bed, I would would turn on A Return to Love as an audiobook. I would add it to my ears, and then as I was falling asleep, I was listening to it, and it would just run itself out because I wanted that part of me to also listen, even though I was asleep. And so that's really sort of what ignited that. And then I don't know however long after, but what I also did was I began to, I wanted to make a choice for love. I made a choice for love. I wanted love to be my driver. And so I made a conscious choice of that. And what I did was I set 5 alarms on my phone to go off. And whenever they went off, I would just say, I choose love. I choose love. That's what I did. It was a gentle alarm. I choose love. And me being me, I naturally assumed that, or maybe naively assumed that because I had chosen love, heavens would open, angels would descend, path would be cleared, and rose petals would be strewn because I had chosen love, right? That's not really what happened. What happened was that anything and everything that was out of resonance with love would be brought to my attention, and has been brought to my attention for the past more than 15 years, and continues to be. And so I have consistently throughout these many, many years have been given, quote unquote, or accepted the choice of choosing love in any and all situations, which is not always the easiest thing. And I'm not talking about becoming a doormat or just laying myself down and being like, yeah, you can do whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. Love is also about setting boundaries and knowing what's right and what's wrong for you. It's about being in alignment with your truth. It's about, speaking your truth. It's about sharing your truth. It's about standing for your truth. It's about infusing it into every area of your life, your work, and your business, which I have done and am doing. And what I wanted to do was I actually wanted to read this section because later on, I don't know when, but later on, as I was reading A Course in Miracles, because that's what happened as well, is like back in 2012, that's when I truly began getting A Course in Miracles. And I read and I read and I read. And there was a section of it that when I read it, I was like, ooh, it straightened my spine, and it got me, I understood completely what it was about. And I wanted to read about it because this has been one of my taglines for many, many years has been mastery through love. And that's the whole reason why the podcast here is named Mastery, has to do with that. So I wanted to share a section from A Course in Miracles, and I want to read it. For those of you who, I'll leave where you can find it in the description. So it says, it has already been said that you believe you cannot control fear because you yourself made it, and your belief in it seems to render it out of your control. Yet any attempt to resolve the error through attempting the mastery of fear is useless. In fact, it asserts the power of fear by the very assumption that it need to be mastered. The true resolution rests entirely on mastery through love. And that to me was it was such a pivotal thing for me. Like, yes, it is about mastery through love. That does not mean, and if you walk with me for a while, you will know this. I do not ignore fear. Fear can be very real. However, and life as a human, spiritual being having a human experience is never without fear. There will always be fear. However, it is not about you mastering fear. It's about you mastering love, because in your decision for love, in your action through love, in your choice for love, you then dissolve or able to move through, surpass, transcend, whatever you want to call it, the fear. When the love for that which you do want is higher than the fear, then that's when you move through it. And so that has been one of my guiding principles. My main guiding principles is that love is the way. However, it happens through the mastery through love. And so, what I want, that's the whole crux of what I want to share with you today is that if you're someone who have been trying to either suppress or deny any sort of fear or low vibration or quote unquote bad emotion. I said quote unquote low vibration as well because that's a whole thing for me. Then rather than doing that, let the love in you rise, and use the love in you to dissolve that which you fear, to dissolve that which is coming up for you in terms of when it comes to fear, because there will be fear or ickiness or anger. All of those things are jealousy, hate. Those are all valid human emotions and feelings. And so it is not about ignoring or suppressing any of that. It's about allowing yourself to process it with love, knowing that when you do, the outcome is so much better and higher, not just for you, but for those you work with, for your colleagues, for your business, for yourself as well. So that's something that's really, really important for me to share in terms of this. And so what I want to leave you with is, how can you, is there an area, maybe there's already something that's appeared for you. Is there an area or something where you can choose love as your way? Is there something that's been calling you where and you probably already know what it is? How will choosing love, how will mastery through love bring you towards that? Because it is my my journey with love and has led me to, quote unquote, the mastery level. And whether you are an accountant or a CEO or a photographer or a graphic designer or an energy worker or a janitor or whatever you may be, I know that there is love in your heart. I believe that those with that is called to hear. And so how can you expand that? How can you grow that? And can you see how that has elevated your life? And when I say elevated, it's amplified, it made it better, giving you deep satisfaction. Allow that love that you are, the love that you carry, allow that to drive you towards mastery. And see how it has already, no matter how young or old you are, see how it already has and how it is. And that is not to say, again, I'm not someone who believes in suppressing or ignoring fear. What I do believe in is, quote unquote, denying it an effect or over you. And when I say denying, what I mean by that is that you can recognize fear. Oftentimes, if we feel nervous or anxious or scared and we're not talking about like real fear, like if you're in any sort of danger or physical danger at all, that's not the time to sit down and start meditating and thinking about love and choosing love. That's a time to remove yourself from the situation. Then you can do this. So if you're not in any physical danger or violence, and fear appears for you, that's the time when you can have a look at it and be like, okay, I see you, I hear you. What are you here to tell me? And then you can choose love and say, okay, well, you're going to be there either way. So I'm just going to move forward with this in love. So that's it. So I hope this served you. Sending you so much love. I hope you'll have a wonderful day wherever in the world you might be. Bye. That is what I have for you in today's episode of Mastery with Maria Saraphina. I hope it served you well. For all the deeds and details, click the link in the description and help me spread the love of this transmission by sharing it with a friend or on social media, or leave me a comment or a review. Have a wonderful and magnificent day. God bless.